Canada is now in a tense moment that could change North American defense for many years. A huge $27 billion F-35 deal is suddenly at risk as Sweden's Gripen steps forward. The review ordered by Prime Minister Mark Carney raised new fears about trade, jobs, and power. Many now wonder what secret forces may shape Canada's future in the sky. Canada committed to purchasing 88 F-35 stealth fighters from Lockheed Martin in 2023. The contract represented a commitment valued at approximately $19 billion initially. However, the Canadian Auditor General later reported that costs had ballooned to nearly $28 billion, representing an increase of almost 50% from earlier projections. Prime Minister Mark Carney initiated a review of the F-35 procurement deal in March 2025. The review was originally scheduled to conclude by September 21st, but remains incomplete as of late November. Defense Minister David McGuinty has offered no timeline for completion, stating only that the decision warrants careful consideration given its importance to Canada's relationships with multiple nations and NORAD commitments. The geopolitical backdrop of this procurement process cannot be separated from trade tensions with the United States. President Donald Trump has imposed tariffs on Canadian goods and made inflammatory remarks about American dominance. These actions prompted the Carney government to reconsider whether Canada should commit fully to American military equipment given the unpredictability of bilateral relations. Canada has already purchased 16 F-35 Lightning II aircraft. The first batch of these jets is scheduled to arrive at a U.S. Air Force base in late 2026 for pilot and mechanic training. The first Canadian F-35s will not arrive at Canadian bases until 2028. Meanwhile, Sweden's Saab has positioned the JAS-39 Gripen E as a viable alternative. The Gripen is a 4.5 generation multi-role fighter aircraft, first introduced in 1996. The aircraft was specifically designed to operate from short runways, damaged airfields, and even highways. This design philosophy reflects Sweden's defense posture, where air bases may face attack and conventional infrastructure cannot be relied upon. The operational differences between the two aircraft are substantial. The F-35A has a combat radius of approximately 1,110 kilometers on internal fuel. The Gripen E achieves a combat radius of approximately 1,500 kilometers, providing significantly greater range across Canada's vast geography. A single Gripen engine requires less than 1 hour to replace, a critical advantage in dispersed operations where technicians work in extreme conditions. The Gripen requires only a single technician and 5 conscripts for refueling and rearming, a process completed in approximately 10 minutes. The Gripen's operational costs represent a substantial difference from the F-35. Each F-35A aircraft carries a lifetime cost approaching $200 million, according to Canadian defense evaluations. The Gripen E operates at approximately half the lifetime cost of the American fighter. The F-35A is powered by a Pratt & Whitney F-135 engine delivering approximately 40,000 pounds of thrust with afterburner. The aircraft contains an AN/APG-81 active electronically scanned array radar and distributed electro-optical systems designed to gather and fuse large volumes of data while minimizing radar exposure. The F-35's secure data links provide real-time inputs to shared operational pictures within NATO and NORAD operations. The Gripen E features a General Electric F-414G engine providing roughly 22,000 pounds of thrust. Its Raven ES-05A ESA radar is mounted on a swiveling plate, expanding the pilot's field of regard. The aircraft has proven capable of sustained operations from dispersed locations with minimal infrastructure support, aligning with Canada's geographic requirements for Arctic patrol and coastal defense. Industry Minister Melanie Joly stated that, "We think that we can use military procurement to get more." She criticized the F-35 contract for failing to deliver adequate industrial benefits for Canadian workers, noting that Saab's offer of 10,000 manufacturing jobs over 3 to 5 years represents a substantially different approach. Saab CEO Mikael Johansson emphasized that to transfer technology and build a hub in a country that would not use the aircraft themselves and have the connection with the end user doesn't really make sense. He indicated that the Royal Canadian Air Force could have Gripen aircraft in service within 3 to 5 years, potentially matching F-35 delivery timelines. A critical infrastructure difference exists between the two aircraft. The F-35 operates with a flying boom aerial refueling system, while Canada's CF-18 Hornet fleet uses hose and drogue systems. Transitioning to F-35s would require new aerial tanker aircraft, adding significant expense. The Gripen operates with compatible hose and drogue systems, eliminating this additional cost. Saab previously offered to establish assembly, manufacturing, and R&D facilities in Canada during the 2022 competition. The Brazilian precedent shows Saab's Gavião Peixoto assembly line currently employs approximately 200 personnel, though Saab projects Canadian expansion to 9,000 to 10,000 jobs, a significant discrepancy. Ukraine's decision to purchase up to 150 Gripen aircraft has accelerated Sweden's production planning, creating capacity constraints at existing facilities. Canada could retain the 16 F-35s already purchased, while acquiring additional Gripen aircraft to fill the remaining requirement for 72 aircraft. This mixed fleet approach would avoid complete abandonment of the F-35 program, while reducing overall financial burden. Bombardier, Canada's largest aircraft manufacturer, has prior relationships with Saab through the GlobalEye airborne surveillance aircraft program. However, Bombardier's history presents complications. The C-Series program required substantial government bailouts before Airbus acquired it as the A220. The Learjet 85 program was terminated after failing to reach market. Large-scale military aircraft production demands precision and financial discipline that exceeds the company's commercial experience. Canada's air defense requirements span approximately 5.9 million square kilometers, encompassing vast northern territories where temperatures reach extreme lows. Fighter jets must operate from icy runways, reach distant territories without immediate support, and remain dependable in remote areas where maintenance crews work in extreme cold. Tim Ripley, editor of Defense Eye magazine, observed that the geopolitical point is that the Canadians want to spend money with their friends as opposed to their not-so-friendly southern neighbor. The 1959 cancellation of the Avro Aero displaced tens of thousands of workers and accelerated brain drain to American programs. The prospect of fighter jet manufacturing in Canada represents an opportunity to reclaim aerospace industrial capacity lost generations ago. The Royal Canadian Air Force selected the F-35 through an open competition process in 2022, with Saab's Gripen E placing second. The current review represents a reconsideration based on changed circumstances regarding costs, geopolitical stability, and industrial benefits. Canada has committed to only 16 aircraft, retaining flexibility to adjust procurement strategy without abandoning substantial investments already completed.